Okay, in this video we'll look at the shopping basket product analysis. Before we do that though, we'll just look at Ms. Dilnut's feedback for my primary user needs. She says they're specific but not limiting, and she's absolutely right. These four things here are clear rules that the product must do, but what they don't do is they don't go into too much detail so that I have less options when I'm drawing, when I'm designing. It's all about keeping everything as wide as possible until it's time to bring it down to a good solution. So now we'll move on to the shopping basket. What we have here is a way of comparing things that already exist. What you have is 1, 2, 3, 4 products. In my case, obviously toothbrushes, because that's what I'm looking at. And it's called shopping basket because you literally do online shopping for it. You go to Google and you type in the sort of product you want, and then you can select different products. Notice that I've got one toothbrush which I call sort of a normal toothbrush, normal plastic toothbrush, and then I've got 1, 2, 3 sort of alternatives. I haven't gone and done 4 toothbrushes very much like this one. They're all different. Obviously, they're the same, roughly the same size and shape. At the end of the day, you can only go so far with a toothbrush, but what they're made of in particular and how they work in particular is different for all of them. So you make this grid. You can have products down the left-hand side. I'd suggest about 4 is fine. You might want to do more. A minimum of 3, absolute minimum of 3, and then you will make these columns. Now, some of these columns for you might be different. If you decide that you need a different column, that's absolutely fine. I would suggest that these ones are the basic ones, if you like, and well, I'll go through them one by one. So, in the first column, this is materials. So, what we do here is we state exactly what material these things are made from. So, this one's polypropylene, polyethylene, nylon. This one is handle aluminium, and the brush head is polyethylene, and the bristles are nylon. This design in particular, this Worth design, has a removable head at the top here, which is a different material to the rest of the handle. Materials then nice and simple to fill in. If you don't know the exact material for something, give your best guess. So, for instance, on this one, polypropylene, I'm 95% sure is the white part of the handle. The blue part, I'm pretty sure that's going to be polyethylene because it's a softer, more sort of silky plastic. So I'm fairly sure that's polyethylene. If it's not polyethylene, it's something very similar to polyethylene. Okay, then form. We know from our lessons that form means the shape, size, and the look of something. So all you can do here is describe the product. So you can see my descriptions for these 3 down here, and this one will go like this. So it's a rounded handle that tapers, which means gets narrower, towards a rectangular squared off brush head. So starts out rounded up here and then gets thinner and thinner, and then up here it's a rectangle up here where the brush head attaches. Function. Again, we know from our lessons that function, as opposed to form, means what it will do, how it works. You can see my responses down here to the 3 that I've already done. With this one, this is actually one of the more complicated toothbrushes. This is the most complicated toothbrush on this page, certainly. So the brush head is removable. so that it can be replaced when it stops working effectively. That's the special thing about this one. Otherwise, it's just a normal toothbrush. This column, sustainability. So what we're going to do here, I would probably recommend that you include a sustainability column, even if your project doesn't really have much of a focus on sustainability. It's good to include something which you can show the examiner you know about and you are aware of, as a sort of like an additional thing. So obviously my project is very much focused on sustainability, so it definitely fits in there. I would suggest having it in your shopping basket analysis anyway. So you can see my responses there. For this one, I'm going to say that the aluminium handle takes a lot of energy to source and produce. We know obviously from materials lessons that aluminium and metals take a lot of energy to melt down from rock form into or ore form into usable metal, and then they get melted again to form them into something. This handle will not ever degrade though. Right, so once the handle's made, it's going to last forever. The brush heads are not recyclable. So this one has got positives and negatives. So the handle takes quite a bit of energy to make, but once it's made, it lasts forever. But these bits on the end, these little removable brush heads, they're just going to get thrown away. Positives and negatives. So this column, Laura's opinion, you could call that primary user opinion as well. Very important. One of the assessment objectives in your portfolio mark scheme that Miss Dilmer and I have access to talks about the constant referring back to the primary user. So you'll notice that throughout, since I've identified my primary user here, I'm always getting first-hand information from my primary user all the way through. Laura's opinion of this one, I'm going to put it in quotation marks so that we know that it's exactly what she said. She said, that seems unnecessary. I spell unnecessary. Unnecessary. That seems unnecessary. And don't the little brush heads just go in the bin? So she wasn't. Yeah, I didn't spell unnecessary correctly. There we go. So she was not impressed by this one at all. She really liked this one. She really liked this one as well. But she was not impressed with this. She thought it was sort of over engineered. So influential features. This is your last column, and this is where you get to say, do you know what? I really liked that this one has a bit of a offset head. I like that sort of like kink in the handle there. On this one, I really like the grip or whatever. It's not, when you come to designing, it's not cheating to have features that already exist in your designs. It would be cheating if you took an already existing design and copied it. That would be cheating. But if you are influenced by designs that already exist, that's absolutely fine and almost encouraged, because otherwise you're going to be working from scratch. Very difficult to design something totally and utterly brand new. So on this one, I'm going to say that I quite like the overall shape of this. brush. Although this could be more difficult to manufacture. Okay, so what I've done here, this is my opinions. These are the things that I like from these products. So if we go through them, I like the little grip on here. That could be something that could be incorporated into my products. This one, the toothbrush itself is actually fairly boring and bog standard, but the material obviously is where this one is really good. This one I like the little bend in the neck there, and on this one I particularly like the end piece there, the way that looks. It's the best looking of these toothbrushes, I think, if we're interested in good looking toothbrushes or not. So you will need to produce a grid that looks something like this. You can do this from the comfort of your computer. You don't need to go any further than this. This column very important, this column very important, and these ones are quite simple really to do. Quite simple to it's just describing what you see. Obviously now I'm done. You know what I'll do next. No, I won't press that button. I'll press this button, and I will share to Miss Dillnuts. That's everything then. Thank you.